First of all, congratulations to Texas A&M. They got a heck of a football team. We knew that coming into it, and they're even more impressive in person. Just the backs are super talented, and they're really good up front. Obviously on defense, they got length in the secondary. So what a dominant SEC football team is supposed to look like, and they played it tonight. Played that way tonight, so give them credit. They're certainly hitting their stride after that Alabama game a couple of weeks ago. The quarterback continues to get better. We knew going into the game we needed to make him uncomfortable, and we obviously didn't do a good enough job of that. And obviously we got to look at why we played like we did in the first half. Had a great week of practice, had great focus and intent in our meetings and walkthroughs. Really felt good coming into this game about our chances of performing better than what we did. One of our keys to the game was controlling their return game. I said it all week in the press conference and with you guys. They're explosive on punt return and kick return, and you saw that. We obviously did a poor job of covering that punt, and we just give them 7 points. We snap a ball over the quarterback's head, give them 7 points, and right away, I mean, that's 14 points in the first half that we gift wrapped, and then they capitalized on it as well. Defense was out there for way too many plays in the first half. I think it was close to 40, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the first half alone that they were out there. 40 plays. That part of that is offensively, and then part of that is defensively. I mean, that was about as bad a first half as it could be in all three phases. Not sustaining drives on offense, not being able to stop the run defensively. I mean, they had 147 yards rushing in the first half, and our keys to victory every single week, we got to run the ball and stop the run. And we didn't do a good job of that in the first half. I was proud of our guys. Effort is not an issue. If I was in that locker room worried about guys playing hard, I'd really be concerned. I don't. We got a great group of young men in that locker room that are hurting right now. Are sick about this feeling, and there's no other team that I'd rather be the head coach of. I'm proud to coach these guys. I'm proud of their effort. We got to coach them better. We got to play better. It's good to see some young guys as the game went on really make some plays. Saw Debo Williams do some great things. Jason Brown coming in and making some throws. It was really good watching some of those young guys defensively. Mo Kava flashed. Proud of those guys. We got to continue to get better there. And right now we're going into an off week. We're a beat up football team. We were beat up coming into the game. That was a physical game out there tonight. We've got to utilize this off week, our open week, to get healthy, and two, get better, because we certainly got a lot of work to do. But, after all this through October now, we're a 4-4 football team. And frankly, I feel like we're better than a 4-4 football team. And we've got 4 games left. We've got to get better this week and finish this thing the right way. And our players are going to continue to fight. We've got 3 home games left out of these 4. And we need Williams-Brice Stadium to be a home field advantage starting in 2 weeks when we play Florida. And I hope our fan, none of us are happy with the performance, but I hope Gamecock Nation can appreciate the effort and the way that our guys are battling. And we're going to need them down the stretch. And Williams-Brice needs to be a great environment these next 3 out of these next 4 weeks. And go back to Columbia and get back to work tomorrow to get better. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Shane, just looking at the offensive struggles, it seems like a lot of it is starting up front. The line often seems unable to block or open holes. Just what can be done to fix those problems in the 8th game of the season?
Yeah, we've certainly got some issues we got to figure out. And again, give Texas A&M credit. This was the best defense, and no disrespect to Kentucky or anybody else that we've played, but this is the most impressive group personnel wise that we've played since Georgia. And not having being down a little bit and not having Wanham out there certainly didn't help, but we got confidence in the guys that we had out there tonight, and we've got to perform better. I mean, they were definitely heating us up, but then they were also sacking us when they were rushing 4 as well, and not having to bring pressure, and we've got to be able to block. We're SEC football players too, and we're an SEC football team. We've got to be able to block guys when they bring 4 as well. I mean, we tried to move the pocket a little bit and get the quarterbacks on the run. We tried to, chip with the tight ends and running backs to give those tackles some help. And we knew going into it that they were going to win some one-on-one battles. Their front seven was, and we needed to win our share as well. And we obviously didn't do enough of that in the first half. When you only have, 21 plays and you go 0 for 6 on third down in the first half, that's a recipe for disaster against a good football team.
And Brian?
Hey Shane, you mentioned the snap issue. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You mentioned the snap issue early in the game, and you also, I think, had a snap that hit Amarian in the leg. Did you get a sense from the players coming off the field kind of what exactly went wrong there? Communication, something else?
No, I don't, and we really hadn't had that issue that I can. But it flared up tonight. We had some just shotgun snaps. Seemed like they were off to the right a little bit a couple times. We had two that went, past the quarterback, and I don't know, because that really hadn't been an issue, throughout, but certainly something that we got to look at with Eric and the communication. I know one of them was, not the crowd noise is going to be loud everywhere in the SEC, but one of them, Eric thought he heard something that Zeb said that, we hadn't quite said that yet, and snapped it before the quarterback was ready. But we had some errant ones as well that we got to, it's a fundamental thing that shouldn't be happening in the eighth game. And it hasn't been an issue in practice. So I was, as surprised as anybody to see it tonight.
Shane, after the Tennessee game, you talked and said you thought Marcus's play calling and game planning was good. I'm curious, how would you evaluate the game plan and play calling tonight? And what does this offense have to do as a whole to kind of get back on track and start to build some momentum?
Game plan wise, I thought it was good going into it. I thought we had a great plan, and it obviously didn't go quite like we thought. So, when you perform like we did in the first half, offensively, defensively, and special teams, we got to look at the plan at everything, and when you have the defense out there for, 40 plays in the first half, they were 4 of 6 on third down. Texas A&M was in the first half. We got to get our butts off the field ourselves on defense. And, offensively, when you're 0 for 6 and you only run 21 plays, you're obviously the plan and coaching and execution wasn't very good, and it's got to be better.
Shane, you touched on the offensive line, but as far as this, I think you guys had 15 yards through 3 quarters. As an offense, is it something that you're seeing? Is it starting up front tonight? Was it something that, were you guys not seeing routes develop, not getting a push up front? What do you kind of chalk it up to as far as, not being able to get things going tonight? And, is that a matter of going back and looking at the film? And I guess now 8 games into the season, how do you fix that from the last month? And I guess what does a bye week do for you guys on that front?
There's a lot there, Ben. When you perform like we did tonight, you got to evaluate everything. And I'll get on this plane and turn on the iPad and watch every play till we land in Columbia and figure out a way to be better. But it's easy to point to the offensive line. We didn't play great. I don't think you didn't play great anywhere. Receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end, offensive line, coaching. I would say that we all had a hand in it, and there was some good in there as well. It was good to see some of the stuff in the second half, some of the things that we made, some of the plays, some of the runs and throws and catches that we had, and we've got to continue to do more of that. And we're 8 games in, so I think we've got a pretty good idea of what we are and where we are offensively, defensively, and special teams, and let's figure out how to maximize the potential of this team and be the very best we can be here the rest of the season.
Shane, when you mentioned evaluating everything, does that include the coaching staff and how responsibilities are?
Yeah, we evaluate every single week. Hale, we sit down and we talk about everything that we do as a staff, good, bad, what we can be better, mistakes we made. We do that after every single game, and tonight's no different.
Shane, what did you kind of take from your first more extended action from seeing Jason Brown? What did he kind of do that, maybe stood out to you? And how do you evaluate a player that late in a game against backups like it was?
I think one drive they had some backups in, but I think that second drive they had their dudes in there, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not going to, certainly they had some down the line guys in there, but I saw some of their top guys in there in the second half as well. So let's not chalk it up to they had the backups in there and we just went up and down the field on them. We had some good players we were blocking and competing and throwing and catching with against. And I thought Jason did well. He's a gamer. And, whether it be back in the spring game, which I know is a completely different level, but he came in and made some throws in the spring game and the moment wasn't too big for him. He sat in the pocket and made some throws and certainly some, throws that he would like to have back and that maybe were a little off. The ball was a quandary over there on the sideline that was a little bit behind him and whatnot. But for his first game action, I thought he came in and did a great job and thought he did a nice job of sustaining plays and creating when we gave up some pressure and being able to get out of the pocket and make some throws.
Yes, and you've obviously been around this fan base a while. You know kind of how they are. I'm curious, what's your message to them as maybe some frustration continues to build with this offensive production?
I just said it in my opening statement, Colin, that we hope they appreciate how hard we're playing, that nobody's happy about getting beat 44-14. Starting with me, we all got to be better, but we got a team that is playing with unbelievable effort, and I'm proud to coach them, and that's a hurt locker room in there. And I'm not happy with the offensive production. I'm not happy with the fact that Texas A&M rushed for 290 yards tonight. I'm not happy with the fact that we gave up a punt return for a touchdown when we've been really good on special teams. So I'm like them. I'm not happy with the way that we played, but we also got a great group of kids in there that are fighting their butts off, and we're 4-4. We're 4-4 with 4 games left. We got 3 games at home. And like always, we got a bunch of competitors in that locker room that's not happy with the way things are going, but we're going to stick together. We're going to stay tight as a football family. And I would hope Gamecock Nation would be out in full force in 2 weeks when the Florida Gators come to town.
Take 2 more, Ben and Hale.
Shane, just quickly, it looked like Zeb got dinged up a little bit in the first half. I don't know if he went into the injury tent. What was his status, and I guess how's he feeling now?
Yeah, I think he had a bloody everything early in the game. I know he had a bloody nose. I think he had a bloody lip after the first series. I think there was a couple, not blaming anybody, I think there was a couple of shots he got, kind of in the upper body that got him pretty good there early in the game. But he's tough and he's a fighter, and he got hit a few times tonight, obviously, but he kept sitting in there and battling.
Yeah, with the last one.
And on that topic, I was going to ask about injuries. Was there anything significant or anything like that you could share at this point?
I don't think so. Darius Rush, I know he tweaked or did something to his hamstring late in the game. But that's the only one. I didn't see Clint before I came in here, but I know he told me during the game that Rush had a little bit of a hamstring that was an issue, but I think he may have come back. So I think coming out of it, I think we're in decent shape, as good as can be. Again, we're beat up. A lot of guys that were here tonight that, were limited in practice this week that weren't here, or that were, were here but beat up. So after 8 games in this league, it's a war, and our depth is a little bit low to begin with, and we've got to get healthy, because we're going to need this whole team. And then the guys that are hurt right now, we're going to need everybody at full force here as we go into November.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. And also I want to send out my, thoughts and prayers to RC Slocum. I know he's a legend here at Texas A&M. He's a great friend of my mom and dad, and somebody that I have a lot of respect for. So thinking of you, Coach Slocum, and wish you well as you continue to battle this thing.